this week on ANN News Kids, we'll be talking about the Israel-Hamas truce, the drought in southern Madagascar, coronavirus updates, and the ancient Roman baths found in Spain. We'll be talking to Rene Leclezio, who's done a lot of work in Mauritius and the buildings, especially Cotton Art Center, which we'll be talking about. The extra fun segment is all about cards and amazing facts about them. The country of the week is Greece, which we'll be doing in French. And now we're going to be introducing a new game where we'll be displaying 6 photos of next week's country of the week, and you can guess it. You can write your answer in the comments below, and we'll be giving some options. Hope you enjoy. We'll show the pictures just after the teaser and just after the country of the week segment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Israel and Gaza have decided to cease the conflict. This was decided on Friday, and many people celebrated after this was announced. In Gaza, more than 248 people died, including 66 children, and in Israel, more than 13 people died, including 1 person in the army. The damage that was caused in less than 2 weeks will take at least several years to fix. Many people's homes were lost, and so they don't have water, electricity, nor beds to sleep on. Thankfully, the conflict is over, but it looks like there will be more like this in the coming years. In the south of Madagascar, more than 1 million people are facing severe food shortages. It's the island's worst drought in 40 years, and people are eating 1 meal a day, that too only cassava. Some people are actually eating cactuses in order to survive. As Madagascar's borders are closed due to the pandemic, it's really difficult for aid agencies to supply them with resources needed. The coronavirus cases in the world are slowly decreasing. The top 5 countries with the most coronavirus cases are USA with the most, then India, then Brazil, France, and Turkey. Countries with the most daily cases are India, Brazil, and Argentina. The top countries with the most deaths are USA, Brazil, then India, Mexico, and then UK. And these are the countries that have the top most daily recoveries: India, USA, and Brazil. A well-preserved ancient Roman bath site with 13-foot high walls was found in Caños de Meca beach in Spain. It was well hidden and protected by the sand dunes, and only 2 rooms have been excavated till now. Most of the site has remained untouched, and it's estimated that the site is spread over an area of about 2.5 acres. Along with the baths, a prehistoric intact tomb and a burial site with actual human remains was found as well. The architecture and design is estimated to be in the 5th century.
So could you start by just introducing yourself?
Okay, my name is Rene Leclezio. So I was born in Mauritius, left when I was 6 years old because my father had to develop businesses in Africa and sugar. And then did some national service in Zimbabwe and schooling there. Then went to university in London, stayed 12 years in London, did 2 degrees. and came back to Mauritius in 1987 at the age of 61.
Thank you. Could you explain a little bit about what you do and your profession?
Profession, well, if I had a profession, it would be engineering, because my first degree was in chemical engineering from London. But my children tell me that I'm the worst engineer that they know. So from a youngish age, I realized engineering was not really my thing. So I did an MBA in London because I like finances and management, really finance more than management. And then a job opportunity arrived in Mauritius for companies for investments into property and other investments in Mauritius by the Mauritius Commercial Bank, which is the biggest bank in Mauritius. And so by that time, I had a child in London, and my firstborn was born in 1987. And so I sent my CV down, and coincided with the setting up of this company, which is called Promotion and Development. And that's what I've been doing for the last 31 years, really. More than 31. Yeah, 34 years of promotion development. And so promotion is a property and investment company. So our main investment, it's a publicly listed company as well. It's listed on the stock exchange of Mauritius. And our main investments are Medine Sugar Estates, where we are the biggest shareholder, the Coudon Waterfront, which is where we are largely the largest investment, and the Freeport, the logistics platform of MFD, which is the biggest logistics platform in Mauritius. And then we've got a whole of other investments, but that's mainly it, really.
Wow. And what exactly made you change your mind? Was it just because that you didn't like chemical engineering, or something else as well?
No, I think engineering is you either love or you hate engineering. It's I happen to be quite good at physics, maths, and chemistry, so engineering seemed a logical path for that. Sciences in general, and I got accepted into one of the best colleges in the UK for engineering, so it seemed a natural course. But then it wasn't really my thing. Really, engineers are passionate about their work. Real engineers, not me, are passionate about their jobs, and they don't care about money. And they're right, actually, they don't. They just love engineering, but it wasn't for me, engineering. And so the MBA opened up a whole lot of new spectrum, especially in finances. And you really get to know the world through the MBA, the different parts of management, of finance, of politics, and so how things work, really. And that gives you a platform. So from what happened, from working in an engineering company in London after my degree, I started working at a merchant bank in London in project finance, because project finance is really the finance which is linked to the most engineering, really, because it's you need a kind of engineering background to do project finance, probably. And then the job came up in Mauritius.
Wow. Thank you. And what's the best thing you like about your job?
The best thing, I like a lot of things about my job. I think creation is important. I think getting buildings done, seeing something going up is personally satisfying. I think giving work to people is satisfying, and developing businesses is satisfying. There's lots of acts, but if I had to pinpoint one, it's really the development and opening of a new building and a new center, something different. Like when we opened the Coudon Arts Center with the theater, was one of the greatest events of my life. That's it's not all that financially stable for the moment, because it's completely different. It's in Mauritius, but I'm quite proud of that achievement.
Yeah. And how has COVID-19 affected your business?
Terribly. So 2020, we had the lockdown for a long time. And the worst thing about lockdown, we have two problems. One is the lockdown in Mauritius, which means all your local business goes. And out of the three core businesses, Coudon was affected the most, the waterfront, because of you have a double whammy. There are no more tourists coming to the island, and we are heavily dependent on the tourist business in the waterfront. And even the local business took a hammering for a few months because there was lockdown. People were out of work, less money coming into the economy. But the other two poles of our businesses did less badly, I suppose. In Medellin, the Casla, the park, that's 85% of its business, of its revenue comes from tourism. And so to make up with a local market, but you can never make up those kind of figures. And then obviously the golf course and the little hotel in Tamarina is affected. But the diamond in the coal mine, if I could say that, is the logistics platform MFD, which is actually business as usual because e-commerce was moving, trade is moving, and so we did okay in MFD, so ups and downs.
Nice.
Really. Yeah.
Thank you. And have you been involved in a lot of projects in Mauritius, like the Kodanan Center, many buildings? Have you been involved in that?
Yes, we've been involved in many projects. As I said, we did all the three. I've been involved with all the three phases of the Koda. From the first phase, opened in 1996, and to mixed reviews. Really, everyone loved the waterfront. No one thought anyone would go there because people were leaving Port Louis at 4:00 and not coming back. But then it was a tremendous success for many years, and then they had a lot of competition going on all over the place, and we stabilized, and we had some issues at the waterfront. And then we did the first IRS in Mauritius, which is an integrated resort scheme, which has allowed the foreigners to buy villas, which is the Tamarina estate. That was very satisfying as well to do that. We didn't make money out of it because we were the first, and we, as a trailblazer, you always say second makes more money. But that gave me a lot of satisfaction. And finally, we signed an agreement for the Freeport, I think in 1995, I would say. So we've been going about 26 years in the Freeport. Wow. But for 20 years, we just were building buildings which were empty because we had to build according to the government agreement we signed. And the biggest satisfaction was, I always said to my directors, and they stopped believing me for a while, but at the end they started believing me. I said, there's a 60-year lease, there's 20 years of pain and 40 years of gain. And in fact, in our 19th year, I think we paid our first dividend, and now we've been going up. We're reimbursing debts, we're paying dividends, and our center is full. Actually, the MFD is full. We haven't got any room left, and we've had to expand in Richter, in the north part of the Port Louis, and in near the airport. So, and we've also gone into Africa as advisors to a number of logistics projects there. So that's been quite exciting.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you. And finally, what advice do you have for kids?
What advice? I saw that on your thing. First of all, I think the biggest challenges facing the world are, I would say, climate change and equality. I think there are tremendous zones of inequality. The rich have got richer, the poor have got poorer. And climate change, funnily enough, is linked to that in some way. Because, and I think those are the two big challenges, and I think those are the two main areas that we should be looking into as a growing. And I think I saw a podcast actually, which is quite worthwhile. If I take a little example of saving the planet, is I have a car which has 5 people in it, which can carry 5 passengers. So if I have a 24-hour day, my car has a capacity of 120 man-hours. Now, 120 man-hours, I'm being generous, take out 20 man-hours for servicing, for maintenance, for filling up, and you're not actually doing a useful job out of it, then you still got capacity of 100 man-hours left. But I use it on average, I think, 2 hours a day, and I'm driving by myself most of the time. So I'm kind of using my car at a 2% capacity. Yeah. And we made an effort there, and I think that's where the self-driving cars are a really important development. If we're using these cars to full capacity, we would need less than half the cars which are on the road at the moment, burning less fuel. But it requires a mindset change, which I think your generation is capable of doing. It means you must banish envy from your emotions, because people who are chasing money, and so the worst thing to do is to do something for money, because that's guaranteed to make you unhappy all your life. So it's so if you banish envy from your emotions and your thoughts, then it's not important if one guy's got a car and you haven't got a car. What's important is this sharing economy where everyone's using everyone else's car, and no one, and then the car's not important in keeping up with the Joneses kind of events anymore. Who cares what car? As long as we get from A to B, in a safe way. So I think if I was to give thing, do what you love to do, because whether it makes you money or not, if it makes you money, that's a bonus. It doesn't make you money, it'll at least make you happy. And that's the advice I gave to my children anyway.
Thank you so much.
That was a nice way to look at it.
Yeah.
Good example.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really enjoyed this interview, and we hope you did too. And it was really nice of you to take your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's a pleasure, girls. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
being here.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Hi everybody, today for the extra fun segment, I'm going to be talking about deck of cards. I'm going to be using this deck of cards to help me explain. Hope you enjoy. Did you know that the deck of cards resembles the calendar? There are two colors, red and black, which are like day and night. There are 4 suits, these 4, which resemble the 4 seasons in a year. There are 13 cards per suit, just like there are 13 lunar cycles per year and 13 weeks per season. There are 12 picture cards, which are for the month of the year, and there are 52 cards in a total deck for 52 weeks in a year. If you add the values of each card, assuming that ace is 1, jack is 11, queen is 12, king is 13, you get 364. And there are 2 jokers in a deck, so if you add 1 for the joker, you get 365, the amount of days in 1 year. And if you add the second joker, you get 366, the amount of days in a leap year. Now I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the history of cards. The first deck of cards, which was printed, was in China in the Tang Dynasty, 9th century. It was a 32-card domino-style deck, and it was printed on paper, bone, and wood. The traditional French 52-card deck resembles some people in history, like Julius Caesar, who resembles the King of Diamonds, Alexander the Great, the King of Clubs, Athena, a Greek goddess, as the Queen of Spades, and many more, because each of the picture cards resembles someone in real history. Now I'm going to be telling you why the Ace of Spades is different from the rest of the aces. Around the 18th century, the ruling classes of England and France began taxing people on the deck of cards produced because of the popularity of cards. The Ace of Spades had to be stamped in order to prove that the tax was paid. But after some time, in 1828, England decided that manufacturers should buy special Ace of Spades to make things easier. Thank you. La Grèce est un pays du sud-est de l'Europe. Sa capitale est Athènes, qui est la plus ancienne capitale d'Europe. Son population est 11 millions et la Grèce a 6000 îles, mais seulement 227 sont peuplées. C'est le pays avec le plus grand nombre de types d'olives et c'est le troisième plus grand producteur d'olives au monde. Et elle possède le plus grand nombre de musées archéologiques au monde et Météora, un endroit en Grèce, a des formations rocheuses étonnantes. En été, il y a plus de touristes en Grèce que des résidents. C'est le pays où la démocratie a été introduite au monde. La Grèce est très ensoleillée avec 300 jours de soleil par an. Elle compte 18 sites d'UNESCO et c'est l'un des pays en Europe qui est le plus montagneux. Cléopâtre et Alexandre le Grand étaient grecs. La langue de Grèce est très ancienne et l'histoire de Grèce est très intéressante avec des dieux et déesses.